Good evening, brothers and sisters. This is Victor Callender. Today is the 8th of March, 2025. It's now 1807 Pacific Standard Time, 607 for those non military people. Happy to be with you. I hope that all of you in Barbados and beyond in the diaspora, that you and your families are well, you're happy, you're channeling good thoughts and positive energies. And of course, we have to teach each other and remember that there's no army coming to save us. We have to save ourselves and, if possible, save each other. I want to talk a little bit about black on black crime and the permutations surrounding black on black crime. We as a people have gone through so much over the centuries, and we are still going through so much as a result of our dispositions and our negative energies towards each other. There are a lot of Barbadians doing quite well for themselves, especially our Barbadian queens and princesses. There are brothers that wake up every day, put their clothes on, go out there to work, take care of themselves and their families, and create synergy towards betterment for themselves, family, and for the wider community. And then there's some of us who play the backside. Let's just call it what it is. We play the backside, and I don't want to use expletives in this forum at all. We just can do better as men. And I'm talking about men now. Not all men are bad. Not all men are dogs. Not all men are worthless. Just most of us. We find a way to take ourselves to the lowest common denominator by sexualizing, perverting, um, being misogynistic, whatever you can make it analogous to, we go along the negative enterprise and we try to be the lowest common denominator. And shame on us, brothers. We could do better than what we're doing. You might say, well, Vic, how come you're blaming the black man, the brother, and you're not blaming the black woman? Because we should stand up and be positive role models, not only for our children, but in our households. We should be men first. And manhood has nothing to do with the size of one's genitalia. We should be able to stand up and speak to each other about the nonsense, the incessant nonsense that's going on in our communities. You mean to tell me that our ancestors, the national heroes of Barbados, that those people died that we might do black on black crime, drive by shootings, and other just totally despicable acts to one another? Why? Why? When we can reason things out. The Rasta man has a saying, let's reason, brother, let's reason, sister. We can reason about issues and solve our issues without the use of a weapon. There used to be a time in Barbados when we could talk to each other. The most dangerous thing was a big rock. No, we got instruments that's of violence that's taking people out of humanity completely off the face of this earth. And we are sensationalizing that kind of rubbish and foolishness, brothers and sisters. How and why? We can't blame that on no government. We can't blame that on no, as a grown person and you're living in your mom's house, or most Barbadian households. At least when I was living in Barbados, moms and dads taught us to be respectful of our community and of ourselves most of all. And you mean to tell me that we have cascaded into nothingness where now perversion is what we hold up as a moniker through which we can visit violence on the least of these, on our brothers and sisters in the community? No, that's not up to me or Mortley or Dale Marshall or Marsha Cattle or anybody else. That we have to own the responsibility of being loving and kind to each other. There are good people in Barbados that's kind hearted and will help people. And how do we repay kindness, some of us, with the wickedness and the scourge of crime? We could do better, brothers and sisters. No one that's one of the heroes of Barbados would have died that we be bottom dwellers as it relates to how we live. No one would have hoped for this level of crime, this wave of crime. We have to have a convention. We have to have a talk. The Prime Minister has spoken eloquently about the gathering, bringing together Barbadians back to the sweetness of our island home. But let's come back to something with which to reminisce and not violence. Violence should not be our shadow, it should not walk with us. We owe it as men, and I'm talking to men here, to stand up and represent, to stand up and hold the Barbadian woman and the Barbadian family in high esteem. It is not beyond our thinking that Barbados can cease to be in another 100 years if we continue down this slippery slope. Our national identity, pride in industry, does not facilitate for the vicissitudes of wickedness and the transgressions thereof that we manifest on those that are the least, as far as being helpless in our society. We must remove the scourge of violence and bring hope back to our national ethos. Our language should be one in which we are asking people to look at us from atop the mountain, not only in the valley of wickedness and deceit. We have to be able to speak truth of these things. I cry for each and every single person to whom death has been visited and their families. I know that we are better than the anger that we visit on each other. I know we are better than that as a people. No government except government of self can bring us into or shock us into our senses to just dispense away with this wickedness of harm to each other. I mean, we can enjoy Barbados as a beautiful place without the anger and the scourge of wickedness and violence. I'm not here to preach to my brothers and sisters, only to tell you that I want to put my arms around Barbados and love you and embrace you as best I can. I want to do that so desperately, but not when we can't solve matters of the heart and matters of money with a level of decency. Our construct, our Barbadian DNA and construct should not be one that permits us To have a take no prisoners, take no hostages attitude. That is the wrong attitude for us. We may only be 166 square miles in size, but we are much bigger than that 166 square miles. Much bigger as people. I hope that you hear me and that I never ask anything of you, but that you love each other. That's the only thing. Whenever I see a Barbadian, no matter where I am, my face lights up and the joy, like a kid in a candy store, comes over me because I love my people. If not us, who? And if not now, when? We can be bigger and better. We can be united by a cause to purge this violence from our midst, or we can devolve into harming each other, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, leaving us all toothless and blind. Brothers and sisters, let's talk, let's reason, like the Rasta man says. Let's reason. I love one enough, and I want one to love me back too, okay? Let's try to not have any killings, senseless killings, at least for a day. At least let's just try. Let's put our best feet forward and try to be able to reason to each other. Enough love to want to hear, and I want to hear one soon. God bless, and God bless Barbados.
Help me spread the word about Naked Departure via social media. Subscribe and share to show support and love for our channels.